Alright, I think we are live, guys. I'm sorry, I'm like 4 minutes late. I was getting some things set up. I want to get some things just right. As you can notice, we have some new little decals wherever they are. They're somewhere over there. Nope. Right there, right there. New decals. Sorry, I couldn't figure that out. And I was trying to set up get the subscription, or actually that's what this will segue what I'm going to get into. Some quick announcements before I get into everything. We have a lot to talk about this weekend. Crazy fights and everything with UFC 261. Probably one of the craziest cards of this year. I know I've said that about a couple other cards, but I mean, MMA fans, we're no stranger to relativity bias, and I'm kind of being given relativity bias to this. But I honestly think, out of all the cards this year, this is definitely up there, especially the main card. This is definitely the best main card I've ever seen. Before we get into all that, I want to save all that stuff. I have a few announcements I want to make. I'm going to be talking about my bets and everything that I made this weekend. You're going to see them also in my reaction video, which I promise is coming out today. I'm actually working on that right now. But you guys are going to see more bets that I've made, and I know a lot of you guys are interested in, my success betting and interested in getting some of my bets, which I will put out if you guys are or if that's something you guys are wanting to put out. I shouldn't have said I'm going to put out. That sounds kind of weird. But if you guys want to see my bets or whatever, I'll put them out. I'll put them up on YouTube. But if that is something you guys want to see, let me know in the comment section of this video and any other of my videos. You can tell me in the chat. If you guys want to see some bets or anything like that, that is something I will do. I also have my DraftKings referral code, which is what I was working on. I was trying to get that all set up so I can get that put in the description of this. So if you look in the description of this stream, and I'm gonna put it in the description of all my other videos from here on out, you sign up through there. If you guys haven't signed up with DraftKings, or you guys are considering signing up on a sportsbook, use my referral code. If you use my referral code, sign up with that. You'll get a deposit bonus. I believe it's like 50% or 100%. So if you put in $20, you'll get, I think, $10 back, which would be 50%. So you make $30 actually. Or I think if you do $20, I think it's 100%. I'm almost certain it's 100%. So if you put 20, you get 20. So 40 in total. But if you guys are interested in something like that, sign up with that. That is in the description below. I'm not trying to get people to bet. If you guys have never bet on anything like that, I honestly wouldn't advise it. But if it's something you guys are looking into and it's something you guys have thought about and you want to get into, you can use my code and you can make some extra money. But like I said, if you guys want to see my bets, let me know and I'll put those out there. I may even start a Patreon if there's a lot of people interested. I don't know. I kind of want to keep them free though, because I feel like that gets it out to more people and it gets a bigger reach. So I think I'm gonna keep them free. And I think that's it for the announcements. I also am going to be setting up too, because I'm waiting to get my channel monetized. We're working on getting my channel monetized. I'm hopefully going to have it by the end of the year. It's looking like October I'm going to get my channel monetized, so I'll be making money. I really enjoy doing this. As you guys can tell, I'm very consistent. I try to put out at least, like right now, I'm putting out like 2 to 3 videos a week. Podcast is guaranteed every Mondays, and then another video on top of that, and then probably a reaction for the fights that happen on a Saturday. I should normally put them out like that Saturday night after the fights happen, but there was a lot going on Saturday night, so I didn't get the fights put out, and I had a lot to work on Sunday, so I'm going to get the video out today, but I guaranteed almost at least 1 video a week, but I'm like right now trying to do 2 or 3 videos a week, so you guys know I'm pretty consistent on that, and I try to improve the quality of my videos with each video. So I'm going to try to set up like I'm going to do like a Venmo, I guess. I'll put that in the description as well. I haven't figured that out because I think I have to set it up like a business way. But if you guys really enjoy the videos and you guys are trying to donate or whatever, trying to keep the videos going, it's literally just going to be reinvested in making the quality of these streams better and the quality of my videos better, getting better equipment, things like that. I'm working with what I got right now. I mean, some of the stuff isn't bad, but I'm going to try to keep upgrading and try to keep improving for you guys. I got someone in the chat saying, who do you think is next for Jake? Are you talking about, I think you're talking about Jake Paul. And honestly, I really don't know. I would like to see, I don't know if you're a MMA fan, Bennett, but I would like to see him fight Tyron Woodley. I think that would be a good fight, simply because Woodley just got out of his UFC contract. He's probably on the downslide of his MMA career, and I feel like he's probably, I mean, if he gets signed somewhere else, he's just gonna get a big payday. Sorry, I stumbled over my words. And he's probably not gonna have a whole lot of success. I mean, you saw Anthony Pettis. He left the UFC, got a big payday, and literally lost his first fight in the PFL. I don't think he's gonna have a lot of success. He'll probably just get a big payday. And if you want to get a big payday and make yourself look good, why not fight Jake Paul? Because he would easily tune up Jake Paul. I think he's a way better boxer. He's got a lot more pop than anybody Jake Paul's ever fought, and he's a way better boxer than anybody else Jake Paul's ever fought. And I think that would be a good fight. And I don't know. I just want to see Jake get pieced up, honestly. I think it's cool what he's doing. I think it's cool that he's bringing light to boxing, but it's kind of annoying to me that it's kind of cheapening MMA, or he's trying to cheapen MMA or make MMA seem like less of I don't know, less fighting than boxing or whatever, like trying to sell boxing as a real fight, which is not the case at all. I think a real fight is MMA. Like a street fight is an MMA fight. You can take it to the ground. Obviously there's no eye gouging, things like that, but like for the most part it's about as accurate and replicable or comparable, I guess, to a street fight as you can get. But I don't know. I'd like to see him fight like a legit MMA fighter like Tyron Woodley. He's trying to get DC, but that's not going to happen. DC would absolutely tune him up, but DC's like, he's stuffing his face with donuts and sitting on the couch. I don't think DC's going to take that fight. I don't know. I'd like to see Tyron Woodley, but we'll see. Maybe even Tommy Fury, Tyson Fury's little brother. He's kind of like an influencer / boxer, but I still think he's probably a better boxer than Jake Paul. We'll see. I don't know. But I'm trying to figure out where I was at now. I don't know. I was talking about Venmo, thing like that. If you guys are donate, like I said, if you guys want to donate and you guys want to help me grow the channel, I greatly appreciate it. I'm really trying to grow this to make like a career out of this, be able to make a living off of this, and this is really what I'm trying to do. So the more you guys help me, the more I guess propels it and accelerates this process and this journey. But I'm gonna go ahead and see what I got for my topics. I'm gonna go into the UFC 261 recap because that was absolutely insane. I watched pretty much the whole entire card. I mean, I didn't see. I missed like the first 2 fights. But I pretty much, I mean, I saw what happened, and it wasn't really anything crazy. I mean, there were finishes, but not fights I really wanted to see, or fights I was really seeking out to see. But I'm trying to figure out. Okay, here we go. I got the UFC 261 results. I'm gonna try to switch over real fast so you guys can see what I'm looking at. Make things a lot easier. See, I got the 2 little decals above my my camera. Bennett saying DC would be great. Yeah, that would be great because it'd be hilarious seeing some bald fat dude getting off the couch and just tuning up Jake Paul, who's actually trying to sell himself as a fighter. Let me see. Do we want to go in from? I'm gonna just go in from the bets or the fights that I bet on. The craziest thing, I had the absolute, like I was saying, like the success. Literally every single one of my bets hit except for this one bet. I had a 5-leg parlay. I forget what the odds were. It was like plus. I don't even know. It was a lot. I had 5 legs. It was Jeffrey Molina, Valentina Shevchenko, Uriah Hall, Brendan Allen, and Zhu Rong. So I had all 5 of those people on my parlay. 4 of those legs hit. All 4 of those legs. The 2 underdogs that I had, and then Shevchenko, and the second biggest underdog, Zhu Rong, completely wronged me. He was a minus 250 favorite. And completely sold the bag on me. I think it was like $5 to win like 70 something, I want to say. And literally the second biggest favorite, someone who I thought was a lot, completely sold the bag. That was one of the fights that I bet on, so I'm gonna try to find that. Yeah, the Kazula Vargas and Rong Zhu completely got wronged by Rong Zhu. Sold the bag for him, but it's okay. We keep it moving. I still made money. The Notvidad fight, I did see that, and that was pretty. I mean, that was a pretty sweet knockout. It was pretty fast. Kind of went with the theme of the night, like first round knockouts. I think it was a first round knockout. Let me see. Does it have a? Yeah, first round TKO. That was a pretty sweet knockout, and then we go on to the Patrick Sabatini and Christian Connolly. I didn't see that one. I actually almost bet this fight to end in a submission. I'm glad I didn't. But I didn't see that fight. Keep it moving. We have the Brendan Allen and Carl Roberson fight. I did bet on this fight. There was another fight I bet on. I just put a single bet on Brendan Allen, along with throwing him in that parlay that I lost. I was pretty mad about that. But I put a single bet on Brendan Allen, and that hit. He was like a minus. At least when I got him, he was like a minus 140 favorite. I think the lines moved a little bit, but I went ahead and placed that because I thought that was a pretty good line to get him at. And then, keep it moving, Dwight Grant, Stefan Sekulic. I did not see this fight. There's someone I saw said to take Stefan Sekulic, but I just didn't really see it. I think Dwight Grant, I mean, I really don't know a lot about either two of the fighters. I have seen Dwight Grant fight a couple times. I just didn't know enough to bet on Stefan Sekulic because he was a pretty sizable underdog, and Grant was like a minus 230 favorite. He ended up winning by split decision, so it must have been a pretty close fight, but I'm glad I didn't take that bet. Keep it rolling. Randy Brown, Alex Oliveira. That was another fight I almost bet on, and I didn't just because the lines were so close. I actually said in MMA Mondays episode 3 last week when I was previewing the card, I was going to ride with Alex Oliveira, but a lot of people were saying Randy Brown, bet Randy Brown. The lines were really close. It was like minus 130 to like plus 115 or one. I don't know what the odds were, but it was very close. And Randy Brown ended up winning, as you can see, first round submission. I'm glad I didn't bet this fight though, because I was thinking Oliveira, but then people were like, I don't know, you should maybe bet Randy Brown. I'm a big believer in trusting your gut, so I was like, I don't know, I'm just gonna stay away from it because I like Oliveira. But Randy Brown ended up winning. I was wrong on that fight, first round submission. Then we keep it rolling to, wait, where's the? This wasn't the very first fight in the main card, was it? I think the very first fight on the main card was the Anthony Smith and Jim Crute. I don't know why it's showing the Chris Weidman. Yeah, they're not showing the Jim Crute fight. But the Jim Crute Anthony Smith fight, that was a pretty sweet fight. That was another fight. I was surprised to see Anthony Smith as a underdog in that fight. It was fairly close, but they had Anthony Smith as like a pretty deep. I mean, for as good of a fighter as he is, and the experience he has, and the championship experience he has. Having him as an underdog against somebody who was like 7 spots behind him. Anthony Smith is ranked like number 6, and Jim Crute was like number 13. So to have him as an underdog to him was pretty insane. But we saw that fight went. It was pretty crazy. I mean, he looked good even before the whole crazy events. He was jabbing him up. He was piecing him up before the whole funky leg. But when he hit him with that leg kick, I mean, Sean O'Malley actually talked about how many times has that happened since it happened to him, because that was the last time that somebody's had that dead leg or whatever. I mean, how many thousands of leg kicks have probably been thrown, and how many times that happened. Like, it's such a rare thing for that to happen, for someone to get kicked in that nerve, and that's how the fight ends. I mean, he wanted to keep fighting. It ended up going to the end of the first round, which I was kind of hoping would happen for Sean O'Malley, because I mean, it was, if you go back and watch that fight, it was pretty close. Like, he was getting close to the end of the round, but he went to the ground and got elbowed, and that looked pretty bad. That's why the ref stopped it. But this one ended up going to the end of the round. It kind of makes me, the way his foot reacted, like his foot wasn't 100% recovered. Henry Cejudo's foot recovered a lot faster, it seemed like, than Jim Crute's leg did. But I mean, nonetheless, they stopped the fight. It was pretty insane, though. He wanted to keep fighting, but it was just, I mean, it was kind of, it's not funny, but it was funny when you watched it in real time. Like, he was mad after they called the fight off. He was like hobbling around. Clearly, like, his leg wasn't back, but he was hobbling around and trying to sell like he was. And then after they called the fight off, he was mad, and he goes up and like punches a little padding in the corner of the octagon. And when he like plants and punches at the same time, he just completely collapses and falls to the ground. It was like, I laughed, but I shouldn't have laughed, because it was obviously like he was very frustrated and it screwed him out on a payday. But it was in the moment, it was kind of funny just watching it happen, not for the actual circumstances. But that was pretty crazy. And then talk about rare occurrences, how many leg kicks have been thrown since this last happened. The next fight, you have Chris Weidman and Uriah Hall. It was a very bad night to be a leg. Thank God I was not fighting. Thank God my legs were not in the fight, because I got bird legs. I got some John Jones legs, and I don't think it would be it wouldn't probably be good for me if I was on this card. The curse that was going around, the very first strike, I'm almost certain it was the very first strike thrown. Uriah Hall did not even throw a single strike, and won the fight, which is insane. It's the first ever fight where somebody has not thrown a single strike and won the fight. Didn't do anything, just pretty much stood there. And I mean, he checked the kick, but that's the most action he did. Chris Weidman, I think, was the very first leg kick he throws, completely shatters his leg. Same exact thing that Anderson Silva did to Chris Weidman, which was the last time it happened, back in 2013, I believe, 2013, 2014. I am not 100% on that. You know, we might as well look that up. Anderson Silva leg break date. When did that happen? 2013. Okay, I was right. So, it's been 8 years? No, yeah, 8 years since this last happened. How many thousands of leg kicks have been thrown for this to happen, and then for it to happen right after another rare occurrence of leg kicks? I mean, it's just absolutely insane. And then for, of all people, of this to happen to, it happens to Chris Weidman. I don't know what to make of this, because I don't think it's like people. I mean, I saw some people online saying karma, but like, what is that karma for? Like, it's not like Chris Weidman did anything bad, but it's just weird. Of all people, it happens to Chris Weidman. I don't know. It was pretty nuts. I feel bad for him. But I honestly think he's towards the end of his career. I was thinking, I mean, I bet on Uriah Hall. Sorry, I stumbled over my words. I talked about that in my parlay I placed that I talked about earlier. And then you'll see that in my reaction video. I go over all my bets too in the reaction video, which will be coming out later today, like I mentioned. I was betting on Uriah Hall, but I really like Chris Weidman. I didn't like this matchup for Chris Weidman, because I don't think his chin's the best. And someone like Uriah Hall, who throws power and throws a lot of I mean, he does have a pretty diverse arsenal in terms of like what he throws with the spinning back kicks and everything. I just didn't like the matchup for him. I thought he was going to get knocked out, and I really think that it's probably time for him to hang him up. I mean, even before with the amount of knockouts he's coming off, if he did beat Omar Akhmedov, but it was a pretty lackluster performance. And then going into this fight against someone like Uriah Hall, I don't really see what like, even after this, I really don't see what's next for Chris Weidman, because he was saying it's going to take him at least 6 months to a year to get back to training and get back into the swing of what he used to do in order to prepare for a fight. So by that time, he's looking at but by the time he actually gets around to another fight, I think Weidman's like 36, 37. He's going to be looking at like almost 38, 39, pretty much pushing 40. And he's pretty much staying on the outside of the top 10 of a division where it's stacked with killers. You're talking about it like a division, like you in the top 5. You got what? Costa, Whitaker, Vittori, Till. I mean, literally the list goes on. You got some serious killers in the middleweight division. I really don't see him making it to the top. He says he'd be a tough matchup for Adesanya, which it's hard to say. I think Adesanya would beat him. I mean, I don't know if he would or wouldn't be a tough matchup. Maybe a couple years ago he would be a tough matchup, but I just don't see that fight happening. I don't really think it's gonna happen. I don't know. I think probably what's next for Chris Weidman is probably retirement. At least I hope that's what's next. And then we go on to the 3 title fights. And the theme of the night kept moving with first, second round knockouts. Valentina Shevchenko looked very dominant. This is probably the most boring fight of the main card, which is saying a lot because this fight ended in a second round stoppage due to a crucifix elbows. I just think Shevchenko was so dominant. That's what made it look boring. I mean, it was crazy to think because I thought a lot of people going into it thought that the big thing that Andrade would have would be like power and strength, and it looked like in a lot of the positions Shevchenko was a lot stronger. I mean, she was throwing Andrade around, and I mean, she pretty did whatever she wanted to Andrade in that fight, and I think she looked very impressive. I think she's in that same position right now as Amanda Nunes, where I don't know who she's gonna fight, who's gonna beat her, because I think it's just the skill difference between her and everybody else in her division is insane. And then I don't really have much else to say about that. It was just insane. It was a pretty dominant performance. And then keeping it rolling to the Nami Yunus and Zhang Weili fight. Another insane fight. First round knockout. How fast was it? It was like probably like a minute, if that, into the first round. A minute 18 into the opening round. I mean, it was like you couldn't have placed a better head kick. I'm a big Rose Namajunas fan. I like Zhang Weili. She was getting a lot of hate from a lot of people going into this fight. I think a lot of people, I mean, I don't know. A lot of people are saying a lot of different things of why the reasoning for the hate. I don't really know what the reasoning for the hate was. I think a lot of people are just rooting for whatever people they like, and obviously Nami Yunus is American, so you're fighting in America. A lot of people are gonna be backing it, but she was getting a lot of hate and a lot of boos and stuff, which wasn't deserving for someone like Zhang Weili, who's a very respectable champion. But Nami Yunus, I mean, she did her thing, went out there and just pieced her up with that. I mean, didn't really piece her up. She just placed like a perfect kick and put her on her butt. Weili was pretty upset with the stoppage. I mean, I could understand where she's talking about where the stoppage was early, especially for a champion. You kind of like should give them a little bit more time at least. I don't mean there's nothing good about giving them more time because you're taking more shots, but it's just kind of like a respect thing for allowing them to get back in the fight. And I understand that. I understand where she was coming from, but I think the position, like the way she dropped, and if you're the ref watching that, the way that she dropped, I mean, she collapsed back on her leg, similar to like how Stipe folded back on his leg. And then Nami Yunus just went on top of her, and then she like went over to Turtle, and Nami Yunus was just laying strikes down on her. I think it was a position like where Nami Yunus, probably with how rocked Weili was, I think she probably just would have kept hitting her. And I think, I mean, yes, you could have let the fight go on a little bit longer, but it just would have been so that she took more strikes in order to put Weili out more. So I mean, it kind of takes me to like if you listen to the George St. Pierre Joe Rogan, the most recent one, he talked about like what's the reason like in situations like this of taking extra shots when you could really, I mean, those extra shots that put you out, that knock you unconscious, may damage your brain to where it may affect you later on in your career or shave time off your career. So you got to think of it in a sense of just saving yourself for another day, because in the position you were in, like when she turned over to Turtle and was taking those strikes, what really is the reason to take extra strikes? Yes, you were still in it, and I mean, yes, you were definitely dazed and you were rocked. You could see when she gets up, she's like stumbling around. She was still conscious though, but what's really the reason of taking extra shots when you're kind of like hazy, unconscious, conscious? I mean, you're with it, but you're not really, like, you're rocked. There's no good reason. And the fight, I mean, the writing was on the wall in my opinion. I don't know. You may have other opinions, and if you have other opinions, let me know, because I'd love to talk about it. But I really think that it was, I think you could have let it go on a little bit longer, but I think it's similar to the Askren fight. Askren got up, he was rocked, he looked rocked, but he got up and he was with it, I guess, enough to know, like, hey, let the fight go on. But the writing was on the wall. He would have taken more shots, and the fight would have been over. And what's really the point of taking more shots? Keep it rolling to the main event. There's the Jim Crute and Anthony Smith fight. I don't know why it's all the way up here. Why don't they have Masvidal? Where is Masvidal? Oh, it's right here. They don't have any pictures. That's kind of lame. The Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. I was going into this fight, like after the whole main card and all the fights that I saw previously, I was like, the writing, like there is something in the air, the writing's on the wall, something crazy is going to happen. I was saying that Masvidal was gonna pull off the impossible. I was like, it's just meant to be. It's literally meant to be. Like, he's in Florida, with the amount of violence that's going on, he's guaranteeing violence. I'm like, it's gonna be crazy. Like, Masvidal is guaranteed gonna pull off something crazy, or just something crazy is gonna happen. But I was really hoping Masvidal was gonna knock out Usman. I mean, I think honestly the whole fight. I mean, it looked in the very beginning, like even up till the 8 minutes or whatever the fight went. I think Usman looked pretty dominant. He did a good job of using his jab and keeping Masvidal at range, and I think it was very similar to the Gilbert Burns fight. Like, a lot of times when Masvidal would Masvidal does this thing where he starts bouncing around, like he just like a little bounce back and forth where he's like bouncing to like get in and out of range, because Masvidal's another good guy that's good at getting in and out of range, popping the shots out of range, back in range, popping the shot out of range, and he's got very slick defense, and a lot of that slick defense comes around like the bobbing and bouncing around, and Masvidal, like every time Masvidal would start doing that, Usman would just hit him with a jab, and that would just like, because he could hit him where Masvidal couldn't. Usman could hit Masvidal where Masvidal couldn't hit Usman because he had the reach advantage, and I think a lot of that was disrupting Masvidal getting started. Masvidal never really got going. Like, every time Masvidal would like wind up like he was about to step in with like a fake front kick and then step forward with something, where you like fake the rear leg front kick and use that to like that fake step to like take a step forward to propel yourself, like a switch stance kind of, to really cover distance. Like, he would do things like that, and every time he would do things like that, he would just get popped. He would just get jabbed, and I think it was very smart because he was just literally disrupting every time he would try to get something going. It really didn't look like the first round in the first fight. Masvidal looked really good. Like, I was thinking that was how the fight was going to play out this time, because I was thinking Masvidal was going into that fight thinking, I really got 1, maybe 2 rounds of like sheer violence, and I'm just going to pour everything out. And that's what I thought that was, and I thought maybe he would, because of the lack of training camp and the big weight cut, maybe not lack of training camp, but not necessarily preparing, I don't know, not being prepared, especially coming in with the weight cut and everything like that. It really depletes your cardio and everything like that. And then going into this fight, having all the preparation, all the time in the world to be prepared and have the proper, be on weight and all that stuff and not be depleted. I thought he was going to bring that first round and stretch it out more throughout the fight, but I think Usman really showed the leaps he's made in his game. And his striking specifically, you saw that in the Burns fight, but then you really saw it against a really good striker like Masvidal, someone who has very good defense. If you guys haven't seen like a video of Masvidal like doing his defense, to me he's like the Pernell Whitaker of MMA. The way he moves, like it's almost similar, like how it's effortless, how he just barely slips out of the way, and he's not even like trying to counter back. He's just slipping out, and he's just like making you miss to make you look stupid. And yeah, I mean, he didn't do that against Usman. Usman tagged him up, and I don't know. I think Usman really showed that he's the real deal, and I think he's making a serious argument for being the number 1 pound for pound fighter. Like he said, I mean, John Jones is the number 1 pound for pound fighter right now, but he's not fighting. He hasn't fought since February of 2020, I believe. And I mean, he's not looking like he's gonna fight anytime soon. What is it? We got some people in the chat. You have to be able to defend yourself intelligently. Oh, about the Rose fight? Yeah, in the position that Weili was in, she wasn't. I mean, she was just turning over and taking shots to the side of the back of her head, which, I mean, a lot of times if you just keep taking strikes there, people are going to stop that. Drop a StreamYard. What do you mean by, like, are you talking about to stream the fights? Let me know what you mean by that, Kevin. But what was I saying? Talking about the Masvidal and Usman. Just talk about the leaps and bounds that Usman made. I think it's a big argument, like I said, for being number 1 pound for pound fighter. And John Jones, like I said, there's a lot of big drama with John Jones and the whole negotiations for getting the Ngannou fight scheduled. And it sounds like he wants a lot of money. Which side's right and which side's wrong, because you got one side saying I did say that, or you did say that, and you got another side saying you didn't say that. And it's really annoying, because that's how MMA is. You always have fighters saying like, no, you're ducking me, or no, you're ducking me. And it's the same thing with negotiations with like John Jones and Dana White. You said you wanted this much money. Oh, I didn't say I wanted this much money. But it's just I don't know. It's a little bit annoying. Drop a StreamYard, bro. Oh, so you can call in. I gotta figure that out. I will get that actually. That's a good idea. I will figure that out for next episode. I'm kind of I don't want to do all that right now in the middle of this episode. But if I can do it, I'll figure out StreamYard and I'll look into it and I'll get it all set up. I will figure out how to do a StreamYard. I'll allow call-ins. I'll talk to you guys. That'd be awesome. That's actually a very good idea though, Kevin. I'm gonna try that out. StreamYard, is that like a website, or is it like a software like OBS, or is it like a plug-in to OBS? Let me know, because I will do that next episode. If you stick around, if you subscribe or whatever, stick around for next episode. I will do that next episode if you call in. because that actually is a very good idea. That would be very fun to talk to you guys, and it would just be more people talking than just me talking to a flipping camera. But yeah, I think I don't know. It's just annoying, John Jones and that whole situation. Also, John Jones. Let me pull this up. John Jones last night. John Jones, as we all know, is a drama queen when it comes to like anything that doesn't have to do with him, but it's just UFC related. Any fight that happens, whether it be a fight night, a pay-per-view, that it could be flyweights, and John Jones will come out and say something about the flyweights, like if I was 125 pounds, I'd definitely whoop all their butts, or just something like that. He always has to inject himself into the conversation, even when it has absolutely nothing to do with him. Last night he tweeted out, because with all, I don't know if he's talking about in reference to the negotiations, the failed negotiations with here we go, hold on. With the failed negotiations with the UFC in terms of money, or just the beef that him and Daniel Cormier have. It says, Jake Paul, congratulations on your victory. That knockout over Ben was absolutely beautiful. If you're seriously making over $5 million a fight already, that's wild. I'm so happy for you. Wishing you all the best in your combat sports journey. This right here, you can see this tweet has been deleted. It was up for, like, no joke. What's the math on that? It was tweeted at 11:09, and he took it down at 31. So what's that, like 23 minutes? I don't know, guys. I didn't fail. I've almost failed just about every single math class in my life. I barely skimmed by the hair of my chinny chin, but I believe that's 23 minutes. Anyways, it's just funny. He deleted the tweet because obviously he realized that was really dumb. I got you, Kevin from Chicago. I almost called you BJ from Chicago, or BJ. I think that's a rapper from Chicago. BJ the Kid, or BJ Kid from Chicago. Yeah, that's a rapper. I almost called you that. That's funny. No, but Kevin from Chicago, I got you. But it's hilarious because he's injecting himself again into this, talking about money, talking about Jake Paul, when I don't know, it just cracks me up. I think if you guys go and like look at John Jones' Twitter account after any UFC event, anything that happens combat sports related, he always has to inject himself into it, which is hilarious. And I love John Jones. I don't love John Jones. I like him as a fighter. He's a great fighter, and I love watching him fight. I love him as a fighter. As a person, he's kind of annoying. Things he does, his antics, and like the drama he just like puts out is really flipping annoying. And this right here, obviously he knew it was kind of lame because he deleted the tweet. But it's just like it makes me, because like people are gonna be like looking at this, like people on Jake Paul's side, well, you got the GOAT of MMA backing Jake Paul, so like really like because it's like the MMA community versus Jake Paul, and then you have the GOAT backing Jake Paul, which is just like, it just makes this whole flipping train wreck all that much worse. But he deleted the tweet, thankfully, but he still put it out, which just it's out there. Even though he deleted it, it's still out there. I mean, I saw it and I screenshotted it. I'm not even like somebody who snipes tweets like that, but it was kind of annoying. But yeah, I don't know. That's really all I got for the UFC 261 recap. Going into I just completely broke my that's hilarious. I just completely broke my mic stand. I'm gonna go ahead and fix this. But getting into the fights for next weekend, we have the Dom Reyes and Yuri Prochazka. Look at that. We are back in action. Dom Reyes and Yuri Prochazka right here. We're going to go ahead and pull up this card. It's a fight night, so it's not a pay-per-view. It's nothing crazy, but nonetheless, I think I made a video previously, a month or two ago, about the John Jones curse, and I said Dominic Reyes would really be the next person to really prove the John Jones curse, or really kind of put the nail in the coffin for the John Jones curse, because there's a lot of people, if you go back and look at the John Jones curse, like people that go on losing skids after they face John Jones, or their careers like really good, like on win streaks going up into the fight with John Jones. Afterwards, they lose a couple straight, or they'll like win and then lose a couple and then win and lose a couple. It's just they completely fall apart after they fight John Jones. Dominic Reyes is on a one-fight losing streak after fighting John Jones, and he's fighting Yuri Prochazka. And if you look at the lines for this fight, Prochazka is a favorite, and I personally think Prochazka might win. Prochazka is ranked number 5. Reyes is number 3. If Reyes loses, it would be just another nail in the coffin for the John Jones curse. Before we get into all that, I want to go ahead and look at this card. I actually recognize a lot of fighters on the main card, so I'll be able to give you guys some accurate predictions, but not anything I would bet on. I'll have all my betting picks out. If that is something you guys want to know, let me know now in the comment section below. If any of you guys If that's something you want to see, my bets for this week, I will post them. Just let me know in the comments or let me know somewhere, and I will post my bets. I'll make a video for it, and I'll have it up here as soon as possible. Definitely definitely no later than Friday of this week. I will have them up. But I'm gonna go ahead and look at what do we got for these fights. The very first fight, Andreas Machildas and KB Bular. I've seen both these fight, and I believe I think I've seen both of them fight. I don't remember a lot about Machildas. I'm gonna ride with. I don't know. I don't know who I'm gonna ride with. I'm gonna ride with Bular just because he kind of looks like he reminds me of like a cross between like Kelvin Gastelum and Edson Barboza. So I'm gonna go with KB Bular. It's kind of a weird comparison. And then we have Luke Sanders, who I'm looking at him and now he reminds me of Kevin Lee because he got the little man bun. Luke Sanders and Felipe Corrales. I don't know. I think it's Corrales, but the L kind of threw me off. I don't know. Luke Sanders. I think the last fight that Luke Sanders fought, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he won. He kind of got robbed. Let me go ahead and look that up. Luke Sanders, because the last fight he fought, I actually bet on him, and I thought he won, and I think he got robbed. I'm going to be riding with Luke Sanders just because I think it says he's on a 4-fight skid. Is that right? No. Well, yeah, Nate Maness, oh, wait, no, never mind. I didn't think he won that fight. He got rear naked. He was winning this fight. That was my bad. He was winning this fight. That's what it was. I bet on him. He was winning the fight, and he was completely like, he was just like wailing on this dude, and but he was like throwing with reckless abandon, and that's what it was. He got clipped, and I think something happened, and they end up in a scramble, and he got choked out. But actually looking at his record, I don't know. Luke Sanders has been pretty shaky ever since entering the UFC. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights in the UFC and only won 2. Or he's won 3. I apologize. That's not very good having lost 3 of your 7 fights or whatever that is in the UFC. And it looks like he's fought some pretty good people though. He beat Renan Barão, but beating Renan Barão isn't saying much because like Renan Barão hasn't won a fight since like I was born. Let me see. Never mind. 2016 was the last time Renan Barão won a fight. I don't know. I don't know. Actually, more I think about it, I'm going with Felipe just because Luke Sanders, he screwed me over last time and he's not doing too well. Luma, I think actually I bet on Luma as well one time because she fought fairly recently within the past couple months. Sam Hughes, I don't know who Sam Hughes is. I'm gonna be betting with Loma. I don't even remember what happened with the Loma fight. I just remember betting on her. Kai Kamaka and TJ Brown. I don't know much about either of these two fighters. If I'm not mistaken, Kai Kamaka actually may be off the Contender Series. I feel like I saw him on the Contender Series. And if that's the case, I might be riding with Kai Kamaka just because I like a lot of the Contender Series guys. And he's from Hawaii too, so he's got that tough Hawaiian, I don't know, that tough Hawaiian fighting style, I guess. I don't know. A lot of the Hawaiian guys are really tough. Let's see. Is he off? No, he's not off Contender Series. I am wrong. So I don't know. Let me see. Looking at his fights, he hasn't really fought anybody of note that I see. Maybe he fought somebody in regionals. No, he hasn't really fought anybody of note. I really don't know much about this fight. So I think personally, I don't know. I'm going with Kamaka. He's Hawaiian. He's tough. We're going to be going with him. Gabriel Benitez and Jonathan Pierce. I think Benitez might be the guy that split his shin open, got kicked in the leg, split his shin open when, like at the very beginning, like last year when the fights came around. When they first started doing fights again, some dude got kicked in the leg, completely split his shin open. I think that was Benitez. I don't know. I don't know much about either of these two fighters. I'm going to go with Benitez. Again, these are like just zero. There's zero thought going into these, and I'm just literally looking at these and just basing my predictions off of if I've seen these people fight or not and who looks mean. Ronda Marcos and Luana Pinheiro. Ronda Marcos, I feel like she's been losing a lot. If I'm not mistaken, her record too is like 10-10 or like 11-10. I'm not betting on her, but I'm just curious now because I want to see what her record is. I'm going with Pinheiro. She's 10-11. Her record is under 500. And yeah, so I'm going with Pinheiro. Bet the house on Pinheiro. Actually, I probably wouldn't say that because Ronda Marcos actually has some pretty good jiu-jitsu, but I don't think she's going to win. You're 10-11. How are you in the UFC is my question. Luana Carolina and Puluana Batello. Luana Carolina, actually, I think she got knee barred by Ariane Lipsky in her last fight or one of her previous fights. I don't know much about either of these two fighters other than Luana got knee bar, and she kind of looked she didn't look like she said she was like a Muay Thai, like that was her background, at least when I looked into it last time she fought, and she didn't look like she was that good of a striker at all. So I'm going with Polyana. Merab Dvalishvili and Cody Stamann. I'm riding with Merab all day. This is probably just going to be a wrestling match. Actually, I don't know, both these guys are like pressure wrestlers that like just pretty much pressure you to take down and try to smash you. It may actually, their wrestling might cancel each other out, and they may hash it out on the feet. But honestly, I'm going to be riding with Merab. I think Merab's probably just the better fighter. I'm going to be riding with Merab on this one. Sean Strickland and Krzysztof Jotko. This is a really good fight. I'm going to be riding with Sean Strickland on this one. I think Sean's a stud, and he's on a pretty good win streak right now, I believe. And actually, I do know this. If you guys want a good, this is actually something I have looked into, and I actually am going to place. If you bet Giga Chikadze and Sean Strickland, I believe it's like minus 250 and minus 200 on their odds, and I think when you put parlay it together, it's plus 110. At least that's what it was on DraftKings a couple days ago. That is a good parlay that I do 100% advise right now. If you guys are listening to the podcast right now and you guys are listening, trying to get some bets, and that's something you guys are interested in, Sean Strickland, Giga, Chikadze, parlay, plus 110. Put whatever you want on there, but that's a good parlay. That's actually something I'll be placing. Moving on to the next fight, Ion Cutelaba and Dustin Jacoby. I think I'll be riding with Cutelaba. He's coming off like that weird, like Tony Ferguson Khabib-esque matching with Magomed Ankalaev or Magomed. I think it's Magomed Ankalaev. It's one of the Magomeds. Like where they literally were scheduled to fight like a gazillion times and it kept falling through because the first time they fought was like a bunch of it was like a weird. I don't know. It was some weird mumbo jumbo. Look up that first fight between them because it was like where he got head kicked. Ion got head kicked, but he was acting like he was rocked. He was like, ooh, but he wasn't really rocked. But he was acting like it, and the ref thought he was actually rocked. And then he kept taking a couple shots after it, acting like he's rocked, but he wasn't really getting clipped. And the ref stopped it because he thought it like he was just out on his feet. And then after that, they just kept trying to schedule the fight, and things kept happening, COVID, injuries, all kinds of stuff. But I'll be riding with Ion Cutelaba. I don't really know a lot about Dustin Jacoby. But I'll be riding with Cutelaba. I know Cutelaba has fought some tough guys, and he actually was ranked at one point in time. Next fight, Cub Swanson, Giga. Cub Swanson's a very, very tough guy. He's beat some very tough guys, and he's upset a lot of upcoming names, I guess. Not big prospects, but he's upset a lot of people. If you look at Cub Swanson, if you look at his record, he's kind of a journeyman, I guess, but he's definitely somebody that's not a pushover nonetheless. Giga Chikadze is a very good striker, a very good kickboxer. Cub Swanson would be the guy to beat somebody like Giga just because he's just a tough guy that you really gotta finish him. You gotta like completely shut his lights out to put him away. But I think Giga's got the tools. He's got the stand up. Whether or not he can stop the fight from going to the ground, maybe that's Cub's game plan, try to get the fight to go to the ground. But I don't know. I think Giga will probably piece him up on the feet and he'll probably knock him out. I'm gonna ride, like I said, I'm riding with Giga for the parlay. Someone said John Jones needs more hugs. Yeah, that's very true. John Jones does need some more hugs. And then the main event, Dominic Reyes, Yuri Prochazka. I already said who I'm riding with. I'm riding with Yuri Prochazka. I think Dom Reyes is going to prove the John Jones curse. He's going to be the nail in the coffin for it. I think it'll be a good fight. This fight's going to play out on the feet. Reyes has some very good striking, but I think Prochazka is going to surprise a lot of people with his striking. I mean, if you watched his very last fight, he's had one fight in the UFC, and he's ranked number 5 in the world. That should tell you something. When you look at his record, too, I even predicted, if you don't believe me, well, actually, it doesn't really matter if you don't believe me, but I predicted in his fight with Volkan Ozdemir, which was his UFC debut, and he was a pretty decent underdog, and I said he was going to win, because if you look at his record, I mean, he fought a lot of people outside of the UFC and was on a big win streak outside of the UFC, but, I mean, he's also had, like, CB Dalloway, Mohamed Lawal. There's some pretty decent names in here. Carl Albrechtsen, that's a Bellator guy he just fought, like, 2 weeks ago. He's fought some pretty tough. I mean, and all these are finishes. He's finished all these people, knocked all these people out. And he's on a pretty decent, like, if you look at his record, he done. Bojan Velichkovic is another tough guy. He's a former UFC guy. So like his losses are to pretty respectable people. Mohamed Lawal. I don't know who Abdul Karim Adilov. Actually, that kind of does sound familiar, but I feel like I don't know who that is. Has he fought in the UFC? Oh, he did a while ago. But I mean, he's lost to some pretty tough guys. I think he's gonna win. I think he'll beat Dominic Reyes, and he honestly might knock him out. I mean, if you watch his knockout of Volkan Ozdemir, it was flipping brutal. And Volkan Ozdemir's got some pretty good stand up. He's known for having. I mean, that's what he's good at is his stand up, and he's a pretty decent kickboxer. And he's he got knocked out pretty bad. I mean, Volkan Ozdemir too is another. He was actually, I don't think he ever fought John Jones. He would have fought John Jones if John Jones had actually not completely just, I don't know. I don't even know what it was. If it was something he did legally or just failing drug tests, I don't know. It was something that mishap on John Jones, and he probably would have fought him, and he may have been another name to the John Jones curse. But I don't know. I think Yuri Prochazka is going to win. I think that's going to wrap up this episode because I pretty much went through all my predictions for next week. Recap last week. I'm going to try to get StreamYard set up for next week so I can do call-ins with you guys. That'd be pretty sweet. I got you next week on that, Kevin. Again, like I said, if you guys want to see me place, or if you guys want to see the bets that I'm going to be placing each week, let me know in the comment section below. I just need to know what you guys want to see. I need a couple people let me know. It just gives me more of an incentive when more people are telling me. If just one person saying it, like it's not enough for me to make a video for just like one person. I'll just literally send you the bets if that's what you want. But if I get a bunch of people, I'll make it. I made one for whatever, like 2 weeks ago, whenever they had the last fights, the Marvin Vettori, I believe. I don't know. I made one. You can look it on my channel. And again, also I have my DraftKings referral link. If you want to sign up for DraftKings, if you haven't already, sign up with that link. You guys can make some extra money. And I think I think it's a 50 or 100% deposit bonus. You guys will be making money on that. Let me switch back over so you guys can see me full screen. Sign up with that. Make you guys some extra money. Link in description. Also, I'm going to be linking a Venmo. Like I said, I'm trying to get my channel monetized. It's looking like October. Hopefully by the end of the year, no later than that. Like I said, I'm trying to make a living, a career out of this. I really am trying to take this serious. If you guys look at my channel, I upload very consistently, at least guaranteed one video a week. But I've really been trying 2 to 3 videos the past couple weeks. And I do this podcast, and then I'll have one video, and then usually on the weekends, whenever the fight happens, I do a reaction video, and that usually comes out literally like the night, this exact same night, or like the next day of the reactions. And also today, I apologize, like I said, the reaction for this past weekend will be up today. I'm working on finishing that up right now. I actually have it pulled up on my computer. I'm just trying to get all that stuff squared away, get the finishing touches thrown on that. And I will have that up later on today. But if you guys have any ideas, video suggestions, things you guys want to see me do for other videos, if you guys have any topics you guys want to hear me talk about, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys have not subscribed already, please subscribe. It really helps my channel grow, and I would greatly appreciate it. Share my content with somebody else if you guys know anyone else that would also enjoy it. And like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, I will catch you guys later. And I'm going to figure out how to turn this flipping stream off.